Hi Internet, welcome to the Troyan YouTube channel. I am doing another Q&A video because I got sick and this question was asked like over a month ago, and I wanted to make sure that I addressed it in a Q&A video. So this is from Colonel Peppers, and he said, one question. You mentioned once in another video how some members of KISS you once met, and a couple were great, but others were not so great. Could you elaborate further on that? Was it in a working capacity or a gig, etc.? So, by the way, I have a cough drop in my mouth, so apologies. Still recovering from the month I was sick. Um, so I basically the members of Kiss that I've met have been the Revenge lineup. So I've met Paul, Gene, Eric, and Bruce. I did almost meet Ace Frehley. I actually snuck backstage at an Ace Frehley concert at the House of Blues in Cleveland, and when I was a teenager, and then got my ass thrown out in a back alley when they realized I wasn't supposed to be backstage. Missed the show, so I never got to see Ace live. So didn't get to meet Ace, but did get backstage, and a buddy of mine gave me his deck of cards so I could get it signed, but didn't get it signed for him, unfortunately. Um, so that was a funny experience. Managed to get back there, but did not get managed to get it signed. What happened with that was so I was going to the Ace Frehley show, but a buddy of mine, he got his car stuck in like a ditch in front of my house before the concert. So I helped push the car out of the ditch in the mud, but like the way he did it, like the mud like splattered all over my jacket, and then he zoomed off and didn't even say thank you like a freaking dick. Um, so he zoomed off, and then I had to wear a different jacket to the show because it was cold out, and so I ended up borrowing a Cleveland Indians jacket, which I would not wear now because I think the mascot is racist and offensive. Thought it at the time, but wasn't as like hard strung about it. But like it's 2020, you guys need to drop that. But anyway, so ended up going to the concert, and there was a buddy of mine who was in a Doors tribute band, Bill Pettijohn, who is since deceased, but. I had a backstage pass to one of his shows from the House of Blues. It was how long ago was that? That was it was like a week prior. So like I just adjust it was like maybe 2 weeks prior. And so I'd like penciled in a different date on the backstage pass. And so the guy at the door looked at me but like saw the pass like, all right, well whatever, he's cool. And so then I knocked on Ace's dressing room, but Ace wasn't there. One of his guitar players there. Oh, he'll be here in a bit. And I realized, like, oh shoot, I'm backstage and Ace isn't here yet, and he's late. Oh shoot, I should probably not hang around back here because then they'll figure I'm not supposed to be here. But I hung around back there, and the thing is, the Cleveland Indians jacket is not very inconspicuous. It's like red, white, and blue, super bright. And so this guy comes up to me and says, hey man, I see your pass. What's your name? I'm trying to find you on the list. And so I said my name, but he thought I said, I said my full name, but he thought I said Michael Jordan. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not. And so he thought I was being a wise guy. So I ended up getting tossed in the back alley after that, because Greg Troyan thought I said Michael Jordan. So, but to me, that is an amusing story about that time I didn't meet Ace Frehley. Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer met them at Kiss Expos. Um, Eric Singer was, I think, the first member of Kiss I met, and I was like super cool, super chill, super casual. Um, he was very pleasant. I went and we were gonna take a picture with him, but I guess like some miscommunication happened, and they started talking with some other people, and so then we were walking around to get the picture taken. He had forgotten we were doing this. So he's like, "Whoa, wait, what's going on?" And we said, "Oh, the picture you just said you would take with us." And said, "Oh, yeah, sorry." And so he just sort of forgot, but he seemed like a little bit like weirded out by people surrounding him, which is like, I get that you're a rock star and people are always moving around you. You're at the center of attention, and like there can be concerns for safety. So then I emailed him like after the expo, like maybe a week later, and said, "Hey, didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Sorry about that. We were just trying to get the picture and like explain the situation." And then he responded back and said, I appreciate how polite you are and understanding. And then he said, most fans don't realize that and, don't treat us like people. Um, and so, just we had a very nice email exchange about, like, politeness and, the awkwardness that comes in social situations and trying to be polite. But, that was a very cool experience with him. Bruce Kulick was the only celebrity I ever got starstruck by. Um, where just because I like respected him so much and had, was at that point a couple years into my musical journey, and I hadn't met too many famous musicians yet. I've met a few, but because I was like so into Union and his solo stuff and his records with Kiss, and just he seemed like a genuine nice person. Like I was actually physically shaking when I met Bruce Kulick. Did not shake when I met Gene or Paul. Um, but yeah, met Bruce Kulick. He was very nice. I actually used to email him a little bit back in the day. He actually sent me one of his last copies of his guitar DVD, like when it was no longer for sale on his website. So just class act, nice guy. I got to interview his brother Bob before he passed. Um, and truthfully, interviewing Bob Kulick was really awkward. He seemed a bit angry and bitter, and it wasn't one of the more comfortable interviews I've done. But it was he was still professional, but it was definitely one of the more tense people I've had to interview. So I did get to interview Bob Kulick for Sleaze Rocks. Paul Stanley, just met him at a book signing. Um, I was wearing my top hat, and I pulled out the top hat and actually gave him some gifts. Gave him some CDs of my band and like a T-shirt. And I said, I was his heir apparent to be the king of glam rock. And then he said, "Oh, with your hair, you're definitely my," he said he made a punch like, "You were definitely my hair apparent," and complimented my hair. And he was very pleasant. Said, "I'll listen to your stuff." Probably didn't, because he probably gets a million of those. But I figured, you know what, you gotta do it. Um, and he was actually very warm and friendly. Um, and there was there was a news article, an opinion piece I wrote about how I understood how some people could mistake the new lineup of Kiss for the original lineup with the makeup, and so I sided against Paul Stanley with D. Snyder in that little debate, and then D. Snyder actually gave me a little shout out on Twitter, which was very nice. But overall, I'd say I definitely respect Paul Stanley very much. Um, And then there's the running with Gene, which is been shared on podcast before, so like it's out in the open at this point. But it's a little bit awkward. Um, I have some friends who played in the Gene Simmons band and the Ace Frehley band, and they were playing with they had this residency show called the Rock and Roll Residency, and they were playing with Gene at their residency, like he was doing a special guest appearance, and so I was at the show, and trying to think of how much into detail I want to get into this. Um, that's where things get tricky. What I'll say is I ran into Gene after the event. Um, I tried to pitch my band to him, and he was less than courteous, and I understand his perspective, and I understand. I think there was a way the situation could have been handled better. Like it wasn't like it was like an incident. It was just Gene was rude. I thought I was being polite. I can understand how he gets annoyed with people trying to pitch bands to him. Um, but like I didn't say anything rude. I didn't say anything like that. I didn't raise my voice or anything. I tried to politely pitch my band to him because it was an actual coincidence that I ran into him. Like I wasn't. I brought the CD just in case and had it on me, but like I didn't think I was going to meet him because they had a very strict, backstage policy, no one backstage. And I just happened to leave at the same time as him and run into him in the parking lot. Like I I left because I was feeling a bit moody. Because it was my birthday week and I wanted to. The residency would have people perform with them on stage, and so they had other people play with them on stage when it was their birthday week. And one of the guys in the residency um, played guitar on my last record, and so it wasn't like I'd never played with them before. But I'd never performed at the residency, and it was my birthday that week. And they've had other people, playing it when it was their birthday. So I was like, oh, I'd really love to, jump up and do a song. But it was also the night that Gene was there, so I understood that I couldn't. They were booked up for slots, and if they're gonna have Gene play with them or me play with them, they're obviously gonna go with Gene. But like it still kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. So I left the show early. I watched Gene play, and truthfully, I got a little bit jealous because I had played that stage somewhat recently before that, and I thought to myself, man, I performed better on this stage. And it's not that Gene was performing badly, but he was very much laid back and wasn't like putting his all into it. And when I perform, I put my all into it. But he doesn't. He's putting his all into it when he's with Kiss. He doesn't need to put his all with it when he's just doing a small residency show. But I was feeling like, a little bit sad and moody because like I wanted to play up there too, and I was feeling a little bit full of myself because I'm like, man, I could perform better than him at least in that context, knowing that on that exact same stage, I stood in the same spot and put on a better show. That's not to say that Gene isn't an overall better musician than I am, an overall better stage performer, but just like on that particular stage, which I had stood, I just knew that like I had delivered better. Um, but that's why I left early, and that's why I happened to run into him to the parking lot. So it wasn't like I was trying to meet Gene. Like I brought the CD in case I did, but I wasn't trying to make it happen. I ran into him actually by coincidence. And I know there's like the crazy fans who follow people and stuff, but like it was actual coincidence when I ran into him. And so I you know said, "Hey man, good set." Which is what you just do when you're a musician and ask for you say good set. And he said, "Thank you." And I said, hey, I don't want to be a bother, but I know you sometimes do A&R work. I was wondering if you could check out my CD. And then he just turned his back on me um, and would not say anything. Um, and I get it. You get requests like that all the time, but just it hurt my feelings. What can I say? But um, like I said, I understand his perspective. And I that's basically the story. Um, I was wondering whether or not to get into it, but like at this point, since I'm not really concerned with my music career, going anywhere at this point because I'm moving into writing, you know, I'm I'm not too concerned with it. It's like it's what happened. It's the truth. It's honesty. Um, and it put a sour taste in my mouth. Um, but he's treated the guys in the band very well. And I'm happy for them that they had those great gigs with him, and that he's apparently very friendly to them. And I understand that like, sorry, did not hit the mute button in time. Rock stars deal with a lot of bullshit. They deal with a lot of crazed fans, and they're always dealing with people like, oh, listen to my CD, give my band a shot. I get it. I absolutely get it. It is probably annoying to get that constantly. Most of the bands probably suck. Um, I get it. And so, like, even though, like, it didn't feel good to me, um, like, I get it. And so I'm not going to judge a person based upon that because, it's all about the context you meet someone in. But, it's sort of, it's sort of interesting the different faces people have where there will be much more willing to like, I've always heard all these, great stories about fan interactions with Gene, at like the Vault experiences where you're paying $2,000 to hang out with him. Of course, he's gonna be nice then, but when no one's around, when there's no cameras, and you see what a person is really like. Um, it's disappointing, but I feel like I believe I'm not just saying this as a big Kiss fan, based upon like what I've heard from other people. I think he is genuinely a good person, and just you know he just wasn't in the mood for that. But I had, but I can say this like honestly and truthfully. I wasn't rude. I was polite. I went for it because you got to go for it in life. Like that's part of being, a musician and an entrepreneur is that you're going to be facing rejection, but you got to go for it. You got to hold out your hand, for that handshake. And, a lot of times people maybe just spit on the hand or not care, but you gotta freaking go for it. Because if you don't go for it, you're not gonna get anywhere. Um, so I gave it a shot. It didn't work. It was disappointing, but I mean, I feel good about it because like I wasn't pushy. When he turned around, like I didn't push it. I wasn't I wasn't harassing, and I think that is important. Like we have to remember like these are people with experiences, with lives, who get harassed all the time, and so you know was it right for me to try and network? I still say yes. Um, and I don't think it was wrong necessarily for him to turn his back or just say, I would have preferred like a not interested or like I don't accept demos, but he was tired, from performing, whatever. And I know I'm probably gonna get attacked by Kiss fans who see this video like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, you're so full of shit. Like, look, this is just my honest take. I'm being completely honest about it. This is what you get. So yeah, sorry if that. Don't want to suck on the cough drop too much. So yeah, that is my experience with the Kiss band members. Um, like, comment, subscribe, ask me more questions for the next Q&A. Thank you, Colonel Peppers, for the question. You guys have a good one. Bye, everyone.